just pretty good against the whole field of Herudra. So
yeah, I like it a lot.
What does he choose here? You think he's just going to go into Druid or Warrior?
You know,
Definitely not the Priest.
either of those classes, you can make an argument that they're pretty decent against Miracle Rogue compared to pre-Next Rammus, but I do lean towards the Druid.
Yeah.
I love Spectral Knights against Rogue. When the deck is 70% spells, you just laugh at your opponents who are unable to do anything to
if they don't have, like,
whatever mechanic that's called. I don't even know what to call it.
untargetable.
Untargetable, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what he goes for. It looks like he is going to go into Druid, and, of course, that is a good call. But, you know, Druid is one of these funny decks where you can just have a terrible opening hand and do nothing about anything.
Yeah, not really that funny, I suppose.
No.
But Herudra, he did rely on Druid already in the previous series, and it ended up okay. I think he went 1-1 with it. The Druid deck, I'm trying to recall if it was anything different out of the norm, but I think it was just standard mid-range with Yetis. And
I think you're right, if I recall correctly.
No coin for the Rogue.
We'll see what he gets to keep over here.
Big Game Hunter, not really applicable. Keeper of the Grove, you can make an argument for having it.
I think I'd just keep it. I feel like it's just such a nice card to just have one of against basically anything. But
yeah, it can silence Thalnos and Van Cleef.
Yeah.
It can, like, that plus a hero power can snipe a 3/3 minion.
Yeah. Takes a little bit longer for that, I guess.
I think he really wants to fish hard for Wild Growth and Innervates, though.
Yeah.
Of some kind to pair it with Spectral Knights.
Do you like the idea of keeping Wrath? Because I'm not a huge fan, to be honest.
Wrath is often used to cycle, and you're cycling because you're getting deeper into your deck.
Here, all he's thinking about is killing an SI7 with it.
Yeah, that's also true as well. I don't know if Wrath's worth keeping. I think you can hold on to Wrath if you have a pretty good hand otherwise as a good option, but well, you know what? All's well that ends well, I suppose.
A nice little curve here for Yhone.
A little melodic scale of cards.
Yeah. And he actually, no mulligan here for Yhone. Just goes names up for a second. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent for a no-coin hand. He can definitely remove, like, a quick Yeti or something like that. Going to be able to dagger up. He has the sap in case Innervate gets out of hand. So pretty decent.
Innervate gets out of hand. Very nice, Artosis.
Yes.
I didn't get to see the Druid hand, but I assume he didn't really have an Innervate or anything to pair together because he did have Shade next Rammus. And if you have the coin, you would have coined Wild Growth into the Shade. So, to attack or not to attack, that is the question. And I think attacking here is fine. Oh, because I'm pretty sure next turn he's not going to drop a naked SI7 agent.
No. I think you're right. An attack there would have been called for.
Because I think he might attack and redagger, in which case he misses 1 damage.
Well, let's see.
Well, yeah, that's almost exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I don't think you really want to drop that SI. That seems a little bit weak.
The thing about dropping the SI is that it doesn't do anything immediately into the next turn either. And so you're just strictly missing out on its damage. It's the same exact concept. You're not trying to pressure Druid. Your goal here in the early stages of the Rogue is to draw cards to combo the Druid. So, again, it is to attack and re-weapon.
Yeah.
But who knows? We're going to remember that. And that 1 damage, if it ends up being the difference maker.
It definitely could end up. Like, we have plenty of games like that with Miracle where you are 1 damage off of winning. Or maybe you hit exact lethal where you could have done overkill of 1.
Definitely.
And that's always very important, that overkill of 1.
Yeah. It plays into your BM meter skill.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Herudra has, I mean, this Shade National Rammus can just sit here and camp for a long time.
He may want to leave it like forever until it's the death blow or 1 away from the death blow to set up lethal for the next turn. I actually like to play Shades like that against Miracle, to be honest.
Sure. They can't deal with it unless they're playing Vanish.
Vanish is going to make a comeback. Or no, not a comeback. It's going to
appearance.
Yeah, an appearance at some point.
Do you think we'll ever see Kidnapper?
No, of course not.
Do you even know what Kidnapper is?
It's
an epic
like 6
card.
mana for 5/3 that with combo bounces a minion.
Yep.
And it is just so bad. All right.
Yeah.
Actually, he's going to face here. What do you think about this move?
Oh, well, you know, it's better than playing naked SI7 Agent. Like I said, if he played SI7 Agent the previous turn, he would have lost on the Battle Cry. I think in this scenario, it's fine. Honestly, the attack on the attack with the dagger is what confused me. Because I guess he's playing around the idea his opponent might have Harrison Jones, but even then he didn't have the mana for it and he already used his coin. The only way he could have done that is to innervate Harrison Jones and destroy the weapon. So
I don't think that's what it was about. I think he's like, okay, I'm going to face.
I'm slightly against using the weapon charge there.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, maybe he has an opportunity to be slightly aggressive because the Miracle Rogue player can be control-y against a deck that's aggressive, but sometimes they can flip the switch as well.
Well.
Are you nervous at all if you're a rogue about that shade?
Well, it's a clock, right? Like, every turn you have to kind of recalculate, okay, how much is the combo going to do when it gets there?
That's
and
right.
Like,
I mean, it's basically a sundial at this point.
Yeah.
Tell you what time of the day it is.
That's true.
Is it time to die, or is it or are we still good?
Yeah, and he's actually shown the way that he cleared that turn. That was like a kind of a weak turn playing the Wrath. He shows that he actually wants to hold on to the shade until it's setting up lethal for the next turn or doing lethal on a given turn. So I think that you're not afraid of it. You just have to acknowledge that this shade is the clock on this game.
All right. A second deadly poison might be really useful for Blade Flurry if it starts getting to that point. Meanwhile, he does have Auctioneer as well.
Yeah. In fact, you know, with that Spell Power Fan of Knives and the fact that he could play that Auctioneer pretty soon, we might actually see the shade taken out. It is a possibility.
For sure. Well, Herudra is playing Sun Fairy Protector. That's an interesting choice that we see being rotated in.
Yeah.
It's great against a lot of aggressive matchups like Druid. And, of course, you attach that to the Spectral Knight and just laugh, as no class can deal with it effectively without Black Knight or if you're Paladin.
Yes. Paladin is great, isn't it?
It is.
Well, what do you like here? Like, are you afraid of your shade dying off? Do you need to remove this Thalnos?
It's going to die either way.
Yeah.
Lotheb here, though.
Wow, yeah,
I think Lotheb's a little greedy.
I think Azure Drake actually would have been a better play here.
If he has Blade Flurry, he has Blade Flurry, and you at least draw a card for it. Like, now your opponent can just not worry about Lotheb at all.
Yeah.
And, like, he can be more timely with his preparations to plan out his mana a little bit. Like, the threat of Lotheb sometimes makes Miracle take unnecessary risks because they feel like, oh, I don't actually get the chance to draw, so maybe with the preparation, and then they get, like, backstab. It's like, well, actually, I actually didn't do anything with this prep whatsoever to cycle it. Now, the question becomes, do you kill off the Shaded Naxxramas?
I think the answer is absolutely yes. You have another deadly poison in hand. Yeah,
10 damage for 3 mana.
Yeah. Do you run the Thalnos in? Okay. He's afraid of that Azure, I guess, getting taken out easily. But
Swipe-a-rooney.
Indeed.
Well, SI7 Agent is not exactly the most appealing draw, but he can use that next turn. In the meantime, Herudra has to find ways to piece together aggression. He's got half the combo, and he can utilize that. Savage Roar in itself, when your opponent's at 18 health, is still pretty strong. I'm looking at possible ways to remove with Swipe and start pushing for damage.
Yeah, like Swipe Sun Fury seems to be like a fine play. You don't really need the taunt. It's more of the 2/3 body right now to put more pressure on that board.
All right, he goes for it. And it's now down to the Miracle Rogue to stabilize. 12 health is not a lot at all, especially the closer you get to turn 9 for your opponent.
No, certainly it is not.
Oh, what a great draw. Wow, actually he draws a perfect set of cards, and he gets to replace one of them with Shiv.
All right, let's see what he goes for. Yeah, of course he can board clear here. But he could Gadgetzon to try to actually go for a victory.
If he had prep.
I like it.
If he had prep, it actually works out beautifully.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
Oh, Yhone says, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. This is
I'll be here.
fantastic.
I'll be here all weekend.
Indeed, he will be. And this is what a fantastic turn this is.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking for the Druid, but we can't ignore the fact that Miracle Rogue's at 12 health.
That's right. The combo could kill him off, especially if an Innervate is around. But he's got a pretty sick hand here and definitely can start pouring on damage if nothing gets dealt with.
Well, he's got Lotheb as well lined up. Herudra not looking very comfortable with that.
No. Does he have to charge into this? Or does he just push for damage?
Well,
because
he can Azure Drake and Wrath. That's also an alternative.
Oh, okay. I actually quite like that. I didn't notice that. That seems to be a better play because you need to remove this. You need to also have board presence.
In fact, that also sets up somewhat hidden lethal with Druid the Claw charge next turn, too.
Yeah.
So
good point.
Herudra actually has a pretty decent response. And I'm pretty sure Rogue will remove the Drake. But if Yhone gets careless, that is a kill for Herudra.
Well, he's got to be really scared. I don't think that he's going to play the Lotheb. I think he saves that for the next turn. But he definitely does have to remove this. I think Sap is probably the card of choice to do so as well.
Yeah, you don't care about the card advantage.
No.
The tempo is what really gives you the edge here.
If he plays that Lotheb, that's too scared, right? That can't be the right play here. Like, there's no victory coming with a Lotheb being played.
So then what are you doing with Sap? Violet Teacher sets up a 1/1 minion, but if you Sap, you also can play pretty reasonable minions with Shaded Naxxramas and Van Cleef.
Yeah,
6/6.
I like that a bit more. They're harder to remove. Of course, the Violet Teacher has a very good chance of living, but the 1/1 is kind of inconsequential. I guess you get to Dagger because you have Deadly Poison, so that's like kind of a nice thing.
I guess at the end of the day, I like to look at stats to see what you generate. So after all this is said and done, you create a 4/6 versus a 4/6 worth of stats versus Van Cleef and Shaded Naxxramas together is 8/8. So I think that's better pressure against a Druid because it's getting to the point where you can't be sure if you're going to survive. You're at 12 health.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. Well, still, he doesn't really have a quick kill here.
That's just the worst, honestly.
The Yeti draw.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's not the Yeti draw. It's just the fact that you can't do anything to stop Violet Teacher, and when Violet Teacher goes unanswered, it's not as scary as Gadgetzan or Van Cleef being left alone, but it's up there. You know.
Yeah, it definitely is a very scary minion. It's kind of got like taunt and like spell taunt, which doesn't exist yet, but we all know it will one day, Blizzard.
Yeah. No, that's actually I didn't think about that. That's actually really cool to have like a minion that needs to be destroyed. Like if a spell gets played, like Wrath has to target it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But well, that's
so
how
smart,
I feel.
Arceus.
Oh, thank you. You make me feel smart when you say I'm smart.
Well, that was the intention of my statement.
You're a very friendly guy then. Drops the double Yeti. I guess that's a lot of health on that board.
You just have to stick whatever you can. It's the same thing. Druid the Claw plus charge is a way for you to potentially threaten to kill the game or end the game.
Ooh. I think that Sap is being played. In fact, do you just Gadgetzan and deal with both these?
Well, you know, how many cards are remaining? I like to use the Cold Blood to remove here and Sap the other. So that's 3 mana being dedicated. In fact, if you're going to go for that, I think
use the Lotheb for the combo, or
Lotheb to shut down the combo is also an appropriate response as well. And even Deadly Poison to put out another 1/1.
I'm trying to look for a way to make sure that he wins the game. You know, sometimes we see plays that are just like staying alive.
No, but this is definitely a play to win the game.
That's a lot of damage.
Right. Just people who think like, oh man, Cold Blood didn't get to go to the face, but he generated a lot of other damage with it with these tokens. So it's as if Cold Blood paid for itself just through the pressure created through 1/1s. It's hard to like immediately make that transition. But when someone discovered that, I was like, oh man, that's really intelligent.
Yeah, it quite is. You're very right about that. That's a scary amount. That's like 11, 14 damage that he sees. So 6 out of the hand of a Miracle Rogue. Oh, pretty good chance he can find that. And this actually makes it super hard now.
You got 8, 10, 11, 14 damage being stared at you right now.
How brave do we be here, Frodan? How likely is it after you've already seen? Let's see. I think we've seen an eviscerate.
Pretty likely.
We've seen. It's pretty likely you're going to die.
I don't trust Rogue at all. I'd be more willing.
I don't trust Rogue either.
Yeah, I don't think you draw cards. I think you play some kind of defense, whether it's Druid the Claw and Chillwind Yeti, or these taunts are okay as well. This is slightly more stats, so I'm behind that. Oh, Yhone.
That is lethal, right? Let's see. Three plus. Okay,
no,
so that's 14.
Actually,
No, it's not. It's not.
No,
it's not lethal. But he can Gadgets on and maybe get into it.
Yhone forgot that he actually squelched his opponent, so he can't see its emotes. Oh. Well, that's a little funny.
By the way, I glanced over as soon as he picked his hand up like that.
Yeah.
And definitely, Herudra can see that out of the corner of his eye.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
So he knows something was just drawn. Something crazy. Yeah, he's looking at this and he knows he can't quite get him.
You know, Yhone still feels a little unsafe because he's at 12 health once again. You just go for Van Cleef here. Because he can't kill his opponent. He feels like there is a chance that he might die, and he didn't have Leroy in order to potentially get that damage. Because remember, he had 14 and his opponent was at 20. Leroy was the card he needed, but Herudra does not have the combo.
No, I guess he just, like, there's no way to live at 11 health.
He has 9 damage.
Yeah. Wow.
Is there anything that he can do whatsoever? Can Ancient of Lore draw cards? Can Azure Drake draw cards and pick up something?
I don't think so. Like, what if if he has a 3-drop and draws with Ancient of Lore into a Sun Fury and the 3-drop that doesn't have a cloak, doesn't have stealth, does that prevent enough? I don't think it even does.
What about Azure Drake into Wrath into Innervate Druid the Claw? Can that keep him alive? No, I don't think so. There's just too many tokens.
6. That's 3, 6, 7. No, I mean he has 3 health to play with after that play, so it doesn't seem like it. I think that's just straight up it.
Well, you know, that's going to mean Yhone jumps out to a 2-0 lead because he does have that Leroy waiting in hand to do some damage, even if there's a taunt that stops his board immediately.
Yeah. Well, going to go ahead and try it. You got to try it. He has to look at this, though, and say there's just no way. Especially that Gadget's on out, man.
Did you know the bear had a tattoo?
Oh, wow. Yeah, he does. You're right. You can't see that on the non-gold version, can you?
No. Maybe it's paying tribute to, you know, its mother. Most people usually have a mom tattoo right there.
Mama bear.
Yeah. Mama druid. Well, I mean, as badass as that bear is, now that we discovered a tattoo, it's not going to stop him from all of this damage coming through. Yhone's going to jump out to a 2-0 lead.
That's right. Plenty of damage here to kill him off.
He actually has to suicide one of them, right? Oh, no, he's got weapon damage, excuse me.
Yeah, he's got weapon damage plus the Shiv. He doesn't want to actually show the Leroy.
You're right.
He should not show the Leroy. Right? I don't think he used it yesterday. Okay, yeah, he's not going to.
Yeah. He can actually still use weapon damage.
Wouldn't that be the funniest?
His eyes got really big.
Oh, man. He almost really messed that up. Is he looking and he doesn't realize?
No, he does. Okay. Yhone, he's like, he realized that he almost messed up the BM, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That is some emotion from Yhone.
Wow.
Wow. He almost missed lethal with that, Frodan. Let's just take this in for a moment. He's almost having a heart attack at this moment.
I almost had a heart attack, man. That would have been really bad.
Can you imagine if he was then one off lethal?
Yeah, and his opponent gets the force of nature to kill him?
Would he not have killed him next turn? He would have.
No, I mean, yeah, it would have. He was at 12 health still. He had no taunts. That was a really scary moment for Yhone.